Live here. Well, hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to a fantastic live stream event here with Washington Gun Law. I have a huge announcement to make. I want to thank every one of you for being here. I really want to thank Gavin at Precision Rifle Concepts here in beautiful Cashmere, Washington, for putting together this fantastic studio and being a host here. Now, we picked Cashmere, Washington for a particular reason because we are in the geographical center of the state of Washington. And we think it's about time that the Attorney General's office starts addressing, the entire state of Washington. And I want to tell you a personal story first so you understand just exactly how passionate I am about this project, how passionate I am about this candidate, and how passionate I am about this upcoming election cycle. You see, the very first Kirk to get to Washington State got here in 1883. He fought valiantly for the Illinois National Guard in the Civil War, hopped on a wagon train out of St. Louis, Missouri, came to Washington State, making it to Cheney, Washington by the winter of 1883. He got to our homestead in Elmira, Washington by 1884. His name was William Halliday Kirk Sr. He's still buried in Elmira he was buried there in 1912. Every single Kirk that's ever been in the United States is buried in this state. And unfortunately, we are at a point now where I actually have to consider moving my family out of this once great state. And it is time, Washington, it is time that we do something about it. We have collectively lost our minds, and we need to start doing something about this. And that's why I believe so passionate in the person I'm going to introduce that's going to be your next Attorney General. Because, for those of you, Jim Walsh, if you're online, you'll know this. There's a sign right outside of Aberdeen, Washington that says, "Come as you are." It's actually a title of a Nirvana song. But you know what? That's the way Washington State used to be. Yeah, we were a little quirky. Yeah, we were a little goofy. But you know what? You could come as you are to the state of Washington. You could be whoever you wanted to be. You could worship whoever you wanted to. You could do whatever you wanted to. You could wear your hair whatever color and use whatever pronoun you wanted to. But you know what? That's not the state of Washington we live in anymore. No. No, it is a state now where if you don't think a certain way, you don't look a certain way, you don't act a certain way, and you don't vote a certain way, well, there is no place for you here in the state of Washington anymore. And that needs to stop, and it needs to stop with this election cycle. The Attorney General is really nothing more than the senior partner of the largest law firm in the state. The practice of law, and anyone who's ever gone to law school, we were all told this, that there always needs to be an equal application of the law. When we fail to equally apply the law, we no longer have a justice system. But over the last 8 to 12 years, I ask all of you, has the law been equally applied in this state? Has the law been equally applied to each and every one of you? I ask all of you this question right now. Are you better off today than you were in this state 8 years ago? Are you safer? Are you more comfortable? Do you have a better lifestyle? Because I know the answers to each and every one of those questions. And you know who's partly responsible for this is your current governor and your current Attorney General, who thinks he now should be anointed king. And with that, he has hand-selected who he believes should be the next Attorney General. And I'm telling you, that dynamic duo of unconstitutional lawmakers will spell the absolute end of this state. We need to change direction in the state, and we need to change direction right now. We need an Attorney General who actually has a moral compass. We need an Attorney General who's actually grounded in good moral character. We need an Attorney General who is guided by family, by faith, and by the Constitution. We need somebody who is actually going to seek justice for all of Washington State and not just his political cronies. We need an Attorney General who is going to promote accountability, responsibility, and justice for the entire state of Washington. And it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you who will be the next Attorney General of Washington State, Mr. Pete Serrano.
Thanks, Bill. I really appreciate you bringing me out here. And thanks for choosing Cashmere. Thanks for the guys at Precision Rifle Concepts. It's an awesome day to stand before you all, telling you that I am the candidate who will actually support your values. You and I may disagree. Bill and I have talked about this long. We disagree on several things, but where we agree, we fight for what's right. We fight for access to justice. We fight for integrity. and we fight for fair application of law. That's what I will do as your Attorney General. Any of you that don't know my story, I've been here for 8 years in Washington State since 2015. I came to work for the United States Department of Energy at the Hanford site. The plan was to be an environmental lawyer the rest of my life. I had been doing it for about 7 to 8 years, doing great infrastructure projects throughout California, throughout Houston, and coming up even here from time to time to the port of Seattle and Tacoma. I was very proud of the work I was doing. Then I moved over to Energy Northwest, where I was going to permit with my team the next generation of small modular nuclear technology. COVID hit, and when I looked around saying, where are the attorneys? Who's standing up for my children? Who's standing for your children? Who's standing for my wife and your spouse? I was seeing very few, lots of shadows, but no one moving. At that time, I decided with a couple of colleagues that we would start Silent Majority Foundation, a 501c3 profit that has stood for your constitutional rights. I'm in the trenches with the Attorney General's office. I see them. I talk to them. I email them. It's not always pleasant. It's not always on the up and up, I'll say, without taking harsh digs. I'm disappointed in what I see across the aisle, and I know we can do better, Washington. I know I will do better. But let me introduce you to the most important reasons of why I'm running for Attorney General. My family's here with me, and I'll introduce you one at a time to my wife, PJ. This is my wife,
Hey.
PJ. We've been married almost 15 years, and I'm very proud that she chose me.
He's a good guy.
My oldest daughter, Sophia. Say hi, babe. You can go there. My middle daughter, Lillian. I think I'm gonna have to lift you up a little bit. And number 3, Mr. Massimo Giovanni Max Serrano. He's 5. These are my reasons. These are my whys. Why I believe that accountability, responsibility, and justice have to be fairly applied through the state of Washington. If, as Bill said, the most senior partner of a near $1 billion a year law firm and 1,200 staff can't do that, and he's hand selected or attempted to hand select the next successor in line, that's not fair. That's not equitable. It's not a term I tend to use, nor is it equal. I am here to stand for your rights, to be your voice. I will stand even when we disagree. As long as it's a constitutional law, I will uphold it, I will fight for it, and I will do my best to represent you fairly and justly. And so with that, I am launching officially my campaign. You can find our website at www.serrano4ag. That's spelled out F-O-R, so SERRANOFORAG.com. And I know Mr. Bill is going to talk to you a little bit about what it takes to fundraise for a campaign like this. We know that it's going to be an uphill battle. Clearly, I'm running as a Republican. I don't think I need to say that, but I will. And it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle. But the bottom line is equal justice, equal access, and equal voice is what each Washingtonian deserves, whether you agree with me or not. My hope is that my personal Facebook page is blowing up now with people who say, I disagree with Pete, but I know his integrity, I know his character, and I can trust him. Can you trust your current Attorney General? And can you trust those who are running as my opponents? That's what I'll leave it as, and I'll let Bill close it out here. Thank you.
All right. Well, listen, I want to thank all of you for joining. Listen, it's not hyperbole, folks. The 2024 election is really for the future of Washington State. We have seen what we have allowed to become of this once great state. We have seen how we are literally teetering on the precipice of complete and utter destruction. We have lost our way. We have lost our minds here in Washington State, and it is time to restore justice. It's time to restore fairness, and most importantly, it's time to restore some sanity in the state of Washington. So I ask all of you right now, Serrano4AG.com. Now, some of you may have received a $50 check in the last week or so from the Attorney General. I wonder what you can do with that. Well, you can flip it over right now and endorse it to Serrano4AG. Listen, on the replay, we'll go ahead and put the links for it all down below. I'm going to get Pete aside. We're going to do an extra little interview here and get that out to all of you. I want to thank each and every one of you who are kind enough to tune in here on New Year's Day. We're going to get you done before the Rose Bowl kicks off. I know that's important to some of you. But listen, I am so flattered that Pete asked me to do this because not only do I believe in this state, not only do I believe in the importance of the office, but most importantly, I believe in this man. I believe in what he stands for. I know he is going to make a fantastic attorney general. I am asking all of you for your absolute 110% support. Let's get behind Pete Serrano. Let's make him the attorney general. Happy New Year, everyone. Stay safe.